Deep inside your stomach, an assassin so tiny you could fit 1,000 of them across the tip of a hair stabs its tail into an unsuspecting bacteria enemy. It has swerved past the good bacteria and human cells in search of its target. Soon, it will hijack the bad bacteria and explode out with hundreds of copies of itself. This assassin is actually a virus called a bacteriophage, or phage for short. There are 1 trillion phages for every grain of sand in the world. They're everywhere, from vast oceans and scorching deserts to your own skin and stomach. Viruses get a bad rep, but phages are a special kind of virus that don't harm humans. In fact, they could be really useful because we have a common enemy: infectious bacteria. Superbugs are the most dangerous kinds of bacteria because they can't be destroyed by antibiotics. Every year, superbugs infect at least 2.8 million Americans, and more than 35,000 of them die. With the rise of superbug infections, we can't ignore our phage allies anymore. Humans and phages must team up on the battleground of disease to defeat antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Phages saved the life of Tom Patterson, a professor at UC San Diego School of Medicine. While on vacation in Egypt with his wife in 2016, Tom contracted a superbug that left him in a coma for months on the brink of death. Doctors told his wife that this was the worst infection on the planet, one with no antibiotic cure. Desperate for a solution, Tom's wife contacted the FDA to seek emergency approval for an experimental phage treatment. Tom was transported to UC San Diego Health, where he received 2 phage injections. He began improving immediately, emerged from the coma, and made a full recovery. Tom became the first person in the US to successfully undergo a life-saving injection of phages into his veins. So how did these phages know to kill the superbugs in Tom's body and leave his good bacteria and other cells alone? Well, phages and bacteria are paired up. There are thousands of different phage types, but each type only infects one kind of bacteria. Bacteria have tiny particles on their surface that signal their identity to phages. Phage tails can recognize a specific bacterial signal and latch onto the right target. In Tom's case, he received the right kind of phage that could attack the specific superbug he contracted. Inside Tom's body, the phage's tail contracted like a spring, pierced the bacteria, and injected its genes. The phage genes then made copies of itself until the bacteria burst open, releasing hundreds of phages ready to infect and destroy more superbugs. These tiny troopers have been helping humans since the early 1900s. Dr. Fred Tort discovered phages in 1915 when he noticed that some of the bacteria he was growing were mysteriously dying from tiny viruses. A few years later, French scientist Félix D'Herelle purified and filtered out phages from a poop sample. He came up with the idea to use phages to treat human infections. He gave a 12-year-old boy a mixture of phages to treat severe diarrhea. The phages cured the boy in just a few days. Phages are a relatively old treatment option for infections. They were used before antibiotics were even discovered, but when antibiotics hit the market, they became the more popular option. They were more convenient because they could kill not just one type of bacteria, but a broad range. But they can't wipe out all the bacteria. The ones that survive keep replicating and become superbugs, and when someone contracts that superbug, antibiotics are useless. The Centers for Disease Control warns us that antibiotic resistance is one of the biggest public health challenges of our time. With this threat on the rise, scientists are turning to phages once again. In 2009, US scientists tested out the safety of a mixture of phages for patients with leg ulcers. The verdict? The phages were safe. In 2014, Belgium ran a clinical trial to test phage treatments in burn victims with infected wounds. Again, there were no safety issues. In theory, phages are a perfect solution to superbug infections. In reality, they faced an uphill battle in Western medicine. Phage treatment testing has been mostly observational and conducted in small trials, so researchers haven't fully established the effectiveness of phages in treating infections. Even though phages work for Tom Patterson, they have to undergo stricter scrutiny and experimentation before the FDA can approve them for wide-scale use. We're sitting on a gold mine. The cure to antibiotic-resistant infections could be right under our noses. We just need more research to tap into the full potential of phages. In the battle against antibiotic-resistant bacteria, phages saved Tom Patterson's life. One day, they could save yours. To help fight antibiotic resistance through phage research, donate to the UC San Diego Center for Innovative Phage Applications and Therapeutics.